are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and guess what? It is time for another amazing interview. We have a really awesome guest. I had a fun time reading on her bio. We have a special guest, Kittredge. She is someone that if you really love music and artists out there, she has a pretty awesome story that you want to check out because she has done a lot in her career. She has a website you can go to, Kittredge.com. When it comes to her lifelong performing as an artist, she has a very long history that you will appreciate her story. I'm going to let her do it herself, but just brush through some of the details from Broadway to Off-Broadway to major venues nationwide. She has worked with top producers, directors, and she has been captivating a lot of presence on the stage. So we're going to learn everything about what got her into her career, what sparked that interest. And without further ado, the rest of the details will take me 20 minutes for the show, but I just want to bring you on and say, appreciate your time. I know you're pretty busy, so thank you for spending some time with us today.
Hey there, Shamaya. I am thrilled to be here. And is your audience from Texas? That thrills me. Is it a Texas audience? Or?
It was birthed in San Antonio at a barbershop in 2017.
Oh my God.
And now we're all around the globe. People all around the world listening.
Okay.
So right. From inside barbershop to global, man, it's pretty awesome what we've been blessed to do.
All right, but you're mostly bald. What were you doing in a barbershop?
Oh, man. Yeah. I call that age. I call it age, man. Right. I'm at the point where, I got the facial hair, but when it comes to I just keep my hair short. Oh yeah, I call that season, man. That's just season life.
I don't know what you looked like before, but you are extremely handsome like this. So I'm just joshing with you.
I never had a fro, so I always had my hair cut short. And plus, it's hot in Texas, man. Like it's less maintenance, man. Just cut off everything on the hair, man. But it's not about my hair, man. We're gonna talk about your amazing career. When it comes to what you've been able to do with your platform, I didn't get even in closer detail on all the amazing things you have done, but kind of share with the audience first a little bit about what sparked you to want to pursue a music career, and as an artist, how did you develop your own sound?
So, wow. Oh my gosh. I love the second half of that question. How did I create my own sound? And what was the first part? I loved that one so much. I already forgot the first part of the question. No.
What sparked your interest to get into the music industry?
I'm one of those people who I am such an example of someone who didn't choose it. It chose me insofar as I struggled with shyness when I was young, and every step of the way, you find out your loves when you're little. The grown-ups around you who compliment you, that just means the world to you, right? And it sometimes it kind of leads you in the right direction or a direction. And I looked back on this a couple of years ago and realized how many people in school, my teachers and my parents, especially my father, and everyone would always try to get me to sing at an event or join a choir or, do a solo here and there. And I just always turned them down. I really struggled with shyness. And so, but when I look back, I go, well, obviously I had something because, I'm 8 years old and people are trying to. So eventually, when I applied to one university for theater, and if I didn't get in it, I was fine with that. And it was Carnegie Mellon, which is like a really highly reputable place, and I proceeded to continue the shy thing there. But what's interesting, though, Shamaya, is I couldn't stop not trying to do it. Like, it was like sometimes, you know, and I've had people say to me, you know, you can't hide it. You don't let this hide. Don't put this under a blanket, you know, let it out. You've got to let it out. And believe me, years and years and years and years and years and decades of working through that, I have to say in the end that it chose me, because I haven't been able to stop doing it, even with the obstacles. And it's also made me less shy. So, you know.
It's funny you say that, because I tell people all the time, it took me forever to be on YouTube, because I'm an introvert and people don't believe me, because they're like, well, you talk all the time because you always interview people. I said, well, it's a long story, because when we started in the barbershop, it was the owner that said, hey, you have a voice for radio. Why are you not using it, man? Like, I'll let you use my barbershop as a place to establish yourself and interview people. I was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting concept. Like, that would be kind of cool. And it was, because people always make comments like, what's so cool about your podcast is that in the barbershop, we hear the clippers, we hear people getting their haircut, and it feels like we're actually in the barbershop. So it's like, I grew into this in stages, so I can relate to what you're saying about being shy. You think you're shy, man. I'm shy too, but I come a long way. I think it's interesting on that.
And
on that
somebody
front.
saw your talent, right? Somebody saw that you had a gift, and you probably knew it too, but it was not something that you could just go for. And the encouragement kind of led you in a direction, and that direction helped you work through your obstacle of shyness, right? I mean, that is the beauty. That's when, you know, when they say it takes a village, that's one of the things it means, is like anyone who's like, you know, it was less my father really was a big influence on me, but really the strongest memories I have is a teacher who's about to do a music class, and she would go around and she'd choose people, and then she'd stand next to me and she'd go, Anne, and I'd say no, because she knew I was going to say no, but she asked me because she wanted me to know that she thought I could, right? And it's those moments that kind of get you in the right direction. Now, as far as finding who I am as an artist, that took me much longer, because I initially focused my career on theater. And the wonderful thing about theater, and it is still my home, if I may say, it's where I'm extremely comfortable, and that is you're creating a character, and you're telling the story of the character, even with song, right? Even if your character bursts into song, there's a vocal range that says something about your character, the lyrics, the rhythm, all of those different things. There is so much information given to you to bring a character to life, right? But in the last few years, I have been focusing on recording and live performance in Cabaret, which is just me. And I have to say that I don't know, it was very fortuitous that I fell into a group of people who got me. And in all of my years of performing, and I've had some wonderful, wonderful experiences, and, you know, I have to say that there were so many creative impulses that I have had over many years that people rejected over and over and over again, to the point where I just thought was, you know, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. What was wrong, I see now, was the genre of performance I was trying to use those impulses in, right? And if that makes any sense to you. But now that I'm creating my own music, I'm not writing music, but I'm creating my own shows and reimagining songs as in recordings, I'm with a team that we just are so excited about what we're all doing, and they really appreciate that I bring something. You know, my music director said the other day, you bring things to arrangements that I would never do this with another artist. I wouldn't do it with them, you know? And that just makes me feel so good because all these impulses, I finally feel like, wow, I have found their place. And it's exciting and it's scary because, one of my impulses for my last album, Romantic Notions, that came out last year. So this is the 60th anniversary of Mr. Tambourine Man. And you know that, right? With Bob Dylan? Mm. You know that song? And, they've got this movie out about him and stuff. Well, this wasn't the reason I did this, but I was looking for a song when I was putting together my album. I was looking for a song that was a romantic song to music itself. And I searched and I picked Mr. Tambourine Man. And at first, my creative team, I think, struggled with my vision. I think it was kind of nothing they could ever have imagined. Like it was just, but I just kept going. I kept saying to them, I said, please just hear this. This is a love song to music. It's a love song to music. And it was probably one of the longest arrangements it took us to do. It's not a long song, but the length of time it took us to find the arrangement. But when we were getting ready to release the album, I am going to confess something to you and your audience that I haven't confessed to anyone except my husband, which is I was so scared that I was going to be skewered for my rendition of Mr. Tambourine Man, because it's very different from Bob Dylan's or Judy Collins or the Byrds. And at the same time, as I said to my creative team, I'll take the hit. If people hate it, it's on me. It's my thing, And I really didn't know what was going to happen. And what has happened is the other thing. What has been happening is I've been singing this in my shows. It's stopping the show. It's been being played all around on radio and streaming and stuff. And when I've gotten reviews for the album, that's one of them that really sticks out to me. Like, oh my gosh, what she did with this. And I cannot tell you how rewarding it is because it was dangerous. It was, it was not an easy creative process. It was a wonderful creative process. There were so many juices flowing and so many different ideas. And how do we get this all together? And how do we make this work? But man, is it rewarding when it pays off and people like it.
And to add to that, I like what you said, the fact that you had to take that risk, because when you finally are in that stage where you've been doing this for a while, you have the experience in the field, it's not just textbook knowledge, it's something that you have real life, real world experience, is that time where you are able to be able to afford that risk. And like you said, for it to fortunately pay off, that just shows the connection you've been able to build with the audience, because I like to think of it in this point that a genius level requires uncomfortable levels. And you can't really express that genius inside of you if you stay safe. Right. If you just do it the way it's always been done. If you just, make I won't say excuse, but make that safe box where you just stay in your place and you don't try to explore new options. And understand, reading from your bio, that you have a little taste for philosophy and historical fiction. How has other interests in, your worldview help you with your creativity?
Oh my gosh, like enormous. I mean, sometimes, I've been asked on shows like this, sometimes they say, what's your advice for people who want to go into theater or whatever? And I always say that my answer, I think, doesn't have to do with theater necessarily. I think it is specific to the theater, but I think it's for almost anything, which is the best thing you can do for a theater career or a music career is to explore everything. Get out there, learn the history. I mean, the stuff I have learned just the history of music. I mean, I've done workshops for kids, who were like, freshman, sophomore in high school and stuff like that. And, I'll bring up someone like Barbra Streisand or, Bing Crosby, and they've never even heard of them. And it's one thing that they don't have to be fans of theirs, but the fact that there is such a dearth of knowledge about these people who really did significant things to change music over time, like Louis Armstrong. Hello, you need to know these people. They will influence the way you choose to sing today. Michael Jackson, has sworn that one of his greatest influences was Fred Astaire. Now, I bet half your audience doesn't know who Fred Astaire is. I hope they know who Michael Jackson is, but I do have a passion for historical novels. I've read so many of them, and but I also really try to, listen, we all find ourselves times in life when we don't like where we are. And some people just make the best of it, and some people fall apart, right? All these different things. I think what I try to do when I find myself in a place that I really don't want to be is I try to learn my way out of it. I try to go, why is this in my environment right now? And I just kind of, in some ways, plow through it and try and take in as much of it as I can to get out on the other side, so that then it can be a part of my journey, but it's not where I'm ending. I'm not going to get stuck there. I can't allow myself to get stuck there. So yeah, I mean, and I was raised and was a devout Catholic for many years of my life, but I have since transitioned to Buddhism. And one of the things that Buddhism brought me, which I'm sure Catholicism probably could have, but it didn't happen till I was a Buddhist, which was I began to realize, because of my shyness caused anxiety. And so when I would get ready to go on stage, I was a mess. I was just a mess. Once I got on stage, I was fine, but getting there I was a mess, right? Buddhism has taught me that my attention needs to be on everyone else. My existence as a performer is not for me. It's for everyone else. It's for my team, my musicians, my audience. And with that approach, days before the show, I am literally thinking, I hope my audience is if they need a night out, they're going to get an escape with me. I hope that they can make it. I hope they don't get sick. I hope they're safe getting there. You can trust me, audience. I'm going to do everything I can for you. I love you. You're coming, and you need this. If you didn't need this, you wouldn't be coming. And if you don't know you need this, you're going to know it when you get there, because I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something. I don't know what it is, but it's all about them. It's all about what do they need through my talent. And that has eased my anxiety, because the attention's no longer on me. It's on them.
Once again, listen, I'm Refocus Radio, watching this online, talking to our guest today, and Kittredge. Go to our website, and kittredge.com. And I want to pick up on the point where you made about learning your way through, especially in a place where you may be not a big fan of, right?
Yeah.
And we all have those rainy days in life, right? And I want to take that and connect it to what you said moments ago about making it about the people that you're serving. That's a very crucial point to be made, because in any career, any top performing space a person's in, they take what they learn and they apply to the best of their ability. But if they make it all about themselves, it's shallow. It will fall flat. If you want to spark the fireworks or whatever you want to call it, you have to go deeper than that. And what you said about making it about how others will feel, how others will appreciate it, it takes less unnecessary pressure off the individual, because the normal pressure is everyone gets nervous when they care about doing something good. But the unnecessary pressure fades away because now you're locked into the very moment, like this show. When you're locked into the very moment, it's a great performance. It's a call and response, like jazz music. Jazz music is all about a call and response with instruments, how they flow with the chords and the melodies, like dancing on sheet music, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is when we're building our rapport with our audience, whatever your field is, whether it's in the arts or if it's business or whatever. You're in the field to see what they are wanting with their pain points, but you're also providing something that when they leave, they feel much better.
Yes. And, you know, you're making me think about I work with a lot of different musicians, but there are a few that are my first choicers, right? And whenever I get them all at once, I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's different reasons for why, but they're all world class. I'm not exaggerating. They're literally world class. And, you know, one of the things that this other orientation also adds is my musicians are very clear how much I admire them and how much I know they are bringing to whatever arrangement we hand to them, to the point where, and I'm not kidding you, I just think this is amazing because, you know, these guys are, you know, they're musicians that are hired all the time. They come in, they record things, they go. Like that's, you know, my people, you know, even on the last album, I can't tell you, we would go into rehearsal before the recording studio, we'd run things, and I'd have my percussionist and drummer say, you know, I think you really need something here. I'm going to write an arrangement out tonight and bring it to the recording session. You know, same thing with my bass player. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing something. What can we do here? And all of a sudden they have contributed to the, you know, elevating what we had imagined. Right. And then we get on stage and I love having fun with them and I love surprising them because, you know, keep doing the same show, they might get a little bored. No, I don't think so. But anyway. And so I'm always surprising them on stage and we laugh so much together on stage. And we do that because I know the audience loves seeing that. They love seeing when people just have such a wonderful creative camaraderie, right? And the people doing it, it's honest, it's real. We're not making it up. So it's really like creating a community for the length of time of the show, you know?
It's like the key word you said, contribute. When we have our contribution, we are filling in that space. And it's very interesting how life happens because you have to kind of figure out along the way. It's not like it gives you, hey, here's the test run. Sometimes it kind of shows you out there and let's figure this out and let's not fall on the face.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Oh my God. So, I just had an experience like that. We did this show and we had, oh my gosh, we did it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience, folks. But I have to tell you, we had 8 hours of rehearsal. We never once ran through the show before we got in front of the audience. Not once. We had not run all of the music. We walked out. I mean, I remembered walking out there going, okay, well, this could be the end of my career. This was only a few weeks ago. It was a huge hit. And part of it was because, well, he cast well. He cast people who were going to do whatever they had to do, right? But it was also because we all had decided we're just going to go out and have fun. Like, you know, perfect is not even close to happening tonight, but we're going to have fun. And the audience had fun with us. So yes, I mean, sometimes being shot out of the cannon, you're like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it worked out.
And the reason I mention that is because you're from New York City, so you are involved with your community. So speaking of contribution, as well, using a platform to give back to people. Kind of tell the audience, how does that play a role with you not just pursuing your dreams and your career and your professional goals, but also remember where you are and being available to help others as well?
Yeah, well, when my kids were in elementary school, I was a big parent leader, and I really felt that they needed, the arts are so integral to brain development, and so I really took it upon myself to create programs. And it was never just for my kids' grades, ever. It was always for any grade that would accept it and stuff. And that was, to this day, I look back at that and I'm very grateful that I was able to do that for them. And I see some of those kids now, and they're adults, and they look at me and they know who I am, but I knew them when they were this tall. So I'm a little bit like, who are you? But then as things got going more, I realized that there is such, the art, I do believe, and I'm going to say it again and again, the arts are integral to brain development. It's not about creating singers and actors. It's about creating creativity and thinking, And so at one point when I was involved, I began to realize that the way at least the New York City system works is there are schools that are so poor that they get hundreds of thousands of dollars to supplement their needs. And that includes a lot of healthy, really good, creative programs. And then you've got the schools that are in wealthy areas, and the schools have very strong PTAs, and the PTAs are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring quality creative programs, right? And then there's a group in the middle, and they're not quite poor enough to get the subsidies, and they don't have the parents with the kind of money to provide those kinds of programs. So when I started getting involved with organizations, that was the group that I said, this is our target. Let's get to these kids. And that's what a couple of the programs that I'm involved with, that's their target. And I'm very happy about that.
Once again, you listen to Refocus Radio and watching us online, talking to our guest today, Ann Kittredge. Go to the website, annkittredge.com. Can't believe we already hit our time, but I'll squeeze one more question for you. And that is, now that people know your story, what do you see for Ann? What's your next goal? What's your next project? Or is there anything that you would like to share our audience that you're working on?
Yes. Well, I'm coming out with my third album. It's going to be a Christmas album. And my family's a little disconcerted right now because I'm singing around the house Christmas songs in February. And they're like, Ma, what can I say? So that will be coming out at Christmas. And I am doing a new show here in New York City on May 8th. I don't know what it is yet, though. It's so funny. I should, but we don't know what we're doing yet. But we'll come up with something fun. And just to continue to plug my most recent album, Romantic Notions. If anyone is a romantic out there, I think they'll really like it. It's an interesting group of songs with some really nice approaches to them. So really my goal right now is to get that show ready for May so I can take it around and get the album done.
We've been watching and listening to us on Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, Ann Kittredge. Go to our website for all the updates, and we might have her on in the future. Who knows? AnnKittredge.com is the place to go. Like always, I want to say to you, Ann, thank you for your time.
Shamaya, this was such a treat. Thank you.